So the race had already started, or had just started, when I got to Vista Crits. They had just rounded the first corner, and so I'm trying to recover from the ride there because I was riding pretty hard to get there on time, and obviously I ended up being 30 seconds late or so, but thankfully seems like the first lap is usually neutral, and so pack wasn't pushing hard or anything like that, and was able to catch on pretty quickly and get in the mix. So it's my second time doing Vista Crits. I still have to post the first video, but my first my two goals for this race, one was to navigate that corner that we just went through. I think it's corner 3, I would assume so. Better because there's a depression right in the middle of the corner that if you hit it wrong at speed and you are descending into that corner, then it'll throw you off your saddle. And so first race I kept getting gapped after that corner, was not good, and ended up just imploding from that. Right now I'm holding my canister of my spare tube and light and extra stuff, and I just chucked it into the bushes there just to get rid of some weight, and then ended up taking out my wallet and another light that I was going to use for the ride home as well, and dropping that off in the same area later on. But race usually starts here after the first neutral lap, and pace picks up a little bit. Wasn't too crazy off the bat, but they were definitely going harder. So I'm still, after my first race, still trying to get used to course, but again, just had two main goals of navigating this upcoming corner well. I'm not totally comfortable doing it in traffic yet, but I'll get there. And so if you watch, I still get gapped on this corner, and it took me, I don't know, probably 15-20 minutes before I really got comfortable and was able to stay on wheels after the corner. But it was doing a better job-ish of keeping contact on this uphill drag on the home stretch. And so I'm following, I think this is Adam Sheps from Butcher Box, up the hill a little bit, and then decided just to tuck in behind some of the guys. It's Doug Pomerantz, super strong rider. So just trying to stay connected here. I could do a better job of getting on Doug's wheel versus being a couple wheels back, but still getting my sea legs here. Took that corner pretty wide. Definitely could have done a better job of staying on Doug's wheel there. So taking that corner again, still not hitting the right spot, and got my wheel chopped, which was rather unpleasant. Did bug me for a bit, for a couple laps, but those things happen. Just gotta be aware of who you're racing against and how they race, how they ride, and be cognizant of that. So I made a point of trying to stay away from him after that. Here the pace is pretty hot. You can see my heart rate is pretty high. I think my max now is probably right around 183, 184. It used to be higher at 192, 194, but I'm older now, 43 years old. So again, still can do a much better job of staying on wheels here, but I see that the pack isn't exactly drilling it at the moment, and so I was okay with floating along. Still not super comfortable with this corner yet, still trying to find the line. I know it's a little more in than I've been going, but still trying to get it correct. So it'll help later on once I navigate the corner better and am able to stay on wheels and save some energy floating up from there and then going up this drag on the final stretch. Everybody seems to push here, and so good thing to stay on wheels in the draft. guy on the right, I actually just met after the race, and he said he hasn't really done any other races besides Vista Crits. He used to be a runner, was super strong, looked like a cyclist, looked like somebody I knew up in Seattle, or same build and same movement on the bike, so it was kind of cool. But he was plenty strong. Former runner turned cyclist. So again here, just trying to stay on wheels. Get a little closer, I think, on this corner. No, still floating back. So I think the key is taking the line that's a little further in. So one of the courier guys had given me a tip later on in the race to stay on the cement, the white part of that corner, and just apex a little later and come out a little later as well. And you get a much smoother line. You can better absorb that depression in the corner. So again, just trying to stay on wheels here on the uphill. I'd like to attack. I don't think I'm ready for it. Did feel better towards the latter end of the race, but still need to work on just staying on wheels. It's not good to have these gaps form. Getting more comfortable with race speed, etc. That corner was taken way too wide, and then another gap forming here. So just wasting watts trying to get back on wheels. See how I take this corner. Well, still getting gapped a little bit there. Took a little bit more inside. I started going further inside and then coming off the saddle just slightly to navigate it better. The GoPro really does a good job of smoothing out the choppiness on the bike, because you can really, if I had the GoPro 5 sessions that I normally did, then you'd see a lot of rocking from side to side, more so than there is here. So actually pretty impressed with the Hero 9 Black and hyper smooth tech. So again, just working to stay on wheels here. Hopefully I do a little bit better in this corner. The thing you'll notice is there are dropped riders on the course. You got to navigate around, and no, I did not take that corner well and did not stay on wheels. Fortunately, you can see that people up ahead aren't pedaling, so I'm not drilling it, and I can catch up. Still, yep, getting gapped in the corner a little bit better. Not great, but a little bit better. I think this is a picture box guy. Yeah, he had taken a bigger pull, and so was just recovering, sitting back a little bit there. A little bit faster to get on wheels on the incline as I got along in the race. So like a typical crit, kind of hang on for dear life for the first 10 minutes or so, and then after everybody's gotten their energy out and desire to smash everyone, it settles down a little bit. You can see the pack's bunching up. Guys up front aren't really pedaling. Did a little bit better on this corner. Still could be closer to that wheel in front of me. And you can see guys slowed way down here. So heart rate's down to 175 versus up in the mid 180s. So been able to recover a little bit. Corner a little further inside, so a little bit better, and not so many bike lengths off the wheel in front of me. Still doing 600-700 watts to catch up, but you can see people are starting to sit up now after that corner instead of continuing to drill it. So like I said, my focus was just making sure I didn't get dropped and trying to navigate that corner a little bit better. looks like it's pretty steady here, not really surging or attacking or anything like that. You can see the cadence ahead isn't crazy, trying to keep up pace, so I was able just to float right up to the group after that corner, not expend too much energy. Let's see how I manage the corner this time. I'm on the wheel. The guy who chalked me wasn't too comfortable with that. Further in, yep, did a little bit better. Still could do better to stay on the wheel. Sitting here coasting versus doing 600-700 watts. So you can see the pace is tempered a little bit, meaning people are going to get recovered and start smashing again. So I was definitely taking advantage of recovering as well. This is an open course, so it's not like traffic is stopped and there's corner marshals and stuff like that. It's a unsanctioned, free, fun race, so there's no fee to race. I think preems are like $1. I think the winner gets $5 or a beer or something like that. Not quite in that status yet, so don't know, and wasn't going for preems either. So, but it's a wide enough course that you don't really have to worry too much about cars and traffic. And you do see a few cars over the course of the race, but they're generally super respectful or cognizant of people racing here. So see how I take this corner this time. A little bit, yep. A little further out because there was somebody further inside. Lots of strong riders down here. You can see this guy has Stars and Stripes on his kit. And there's definitely other Stars and Stripes in the pack, and then other super strong masters and pro racers. So it's a pretty fun race to be a part of, even though it's a free, fun, unsanctioned race. Cool thing is, if you get dropped, you just pop right back in. So you'll see riders pop in and out. So at minimum, even if you don't race well or can't keep up with the pack, you get a pretty solid workout of sprint repeats and stuff like that. So coasting into this corner here, let's see how I take it. A little bit, no, still could be better. You can see the line that they're taking where they're apexing and then coming out a little wider, and I could do a better job of cornering for sure. And not worried just because I don't see people drilling it. Took the inside corner a little bit there, which is better. Didn't have to spend too much power getting back on wheels, so guys aren't exactly drilling it yet, but I'm guessing it's about to come. So you can see further up, you can see that guy just hammering on the pedals. So decided to surge a little bit, trying to get a little bit better position on this uphill finishing stretch. Make sure it was staying. It felt like there was a break was gonna go. And it definitely seemed like people were trying to make one go. But there's a little bit of a gap right now. And I know the butcher box guy had put in a pretty, I think that's Adam, had put in a dig, so he was recovering. So you could see I'm not on the butcher box wheel I should be, and then there's a gap up to that front group. So we've got to make it up, but there doesn't seem to be too much urgency in the chase, and the gap isn't huge. So take the, no, I hit the depression right on that time, so having to burn some watts to get back on Adam's wheel. But you can see that gap up to the front group is gotten way smaller, so I think everybody smashing on that last incline caught up to him. So it wasn't too hard to float back up to the group without having to put out too much power. Lots of strong cyclists here. So it's pretty fun. It's a nice setup. The GoPro is set at a little wider angle, so it makes the road seem narrower than it is, but it's wider than your typical 2-lane road, I would say. So pretty safe, pretty fun. Obviously there's risk involved, but it's like I said, people are pretty respectful of cyclists racing around, and there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of traffic in this area, so it's super nice. Got a better line that time, not so far off the wheel there, so doing better. Floated right back up to him without having to put out watts. You can see the pack is bunching up, so everybody's easing up a little bit. I think recovering from 2 harder laps, but probably ready to go too. You can see my heart rate's right around 160. Somebody's attacking, and so everybody's pushing a little bit to try and get back on their wheel. This guy on the left, Jonathan, I've met, and he was actually super helpful later on in the race. He was telling me, he told me to follow him as far as the line that he was taking on the corner. I had pretty sure the lap before I'd taken it a little bit wider, and so I'm sure for his own safety and for mine, he was trying to help me navigate that a little bit better, carry more speed. So each time though, I'm not totally comfortable, especially if there's somebody on my inside on that corner. But even closer to the next wheel here too, so feeling better about that. I'd say that's really the most challenging corner. Able to put down a little bit of power here and try and move up in the race a little bit. Anytime you see the pack strung out in a line like that, the pace is usually a little hotter, and then if you see stuff clumping up, then guys are recovering. So I think the cumulative effect of all the attacks and people trying to get away has started to set in a little bit. We're about 18 minutes into the race. People bunching up, just sitting up, trying to get some rest, recovery. That kid in front of me in the blue bike, Antonio Rossi, super strong. He's won here a bunch of times. I actually live pretty close to him. I see him riding on the 56 bike path all the time, and I don't think I've ever not seen him hammering as I've been riding the other direction, but super talented. I think he does track racing in addition just to road stuff, but very strong for sure. So again, a little bit better about staying on wheels from that corner on. I think I do even better a little bit, but decided to attack there, so everybody's making chase. Pretty solid attack. Everybody's still just on top of every move though, so nothing really gets away. It's a funny thing, after you haven't raced for a long time, you got to get used to not only seeing everything again at speed, but getting used to experiencing it at speed. So super fun. Definitely getting my legs back a little bit better than last week. Got that inside corner a little bit better. Still way too far off the wheel. You can see everybody else is pretty much on the wheel in front of them. So still lots of improvement needed there. But again, you can see people spread out, so I'm able to have to put out some wattage. Oh, looks like somebody is attacking. So, but able to pass a whole group there. So I think that was a group of dropped riders. So always got to be cognizant of that on this course. Getting better on the wheel ahead of me here. About 20 minutes in. Nobody's pedaling, at least not pedaling too hard, so just coasting through. Everybody's recovering a little bit from that last attack. Let's see how I do with this corner. There's somebody on the inside, so need to get more comfortable with being in a race and being super close to people, especially on corners that I'm not comfortable with. And I'll get there. I've been there, but not there yet. Get there further on in the race, but happy I'm sticking on wheels here, having to put out some power up the incline, but there's usually a headwind coming directly towards you on this incline because this is facing west. Usually by this point in the afternoon. Races start at 6:15 in the evening. The breeze is coming in from the coast. So if you look at that flag we just passed, it's blowing straight towards us. So usually a headwind on the finishing stretch. Looks like someone may have surged a little bit here. A little bit better on that corner there. Maybe a bike length versus 3 to 5 like I do normally. See how I take this corner. So again, I think I need to accelerate into the corner, take it a little bit further inside, and then carry that speed through so I'm not having to chase onto these wheels every lap. But was trying to be cognizant of that, was working on it. It was a goal for this race, along with just staying connected, not getting dropped. So happy I was able to do that. There's Mike Shaw. This guy's crazy strong. I rode with him a couple times when I was just here to visit on some weekday curry rides, and I think it was Swami's, I'm not sure, but super strong and really good guy. So here, just floating around a little bit. Yep. Watching the video, just continuing to wish that I cornered a little bit better. So I think that'll be the focus for the next race, is making sure I'm cornering better on all corners versus just trying to improve on this corner 3 here. Yep, somebody's on my inside, but I'm right on the wheel this time and not really having to do too much to stay there, so that's good. All right. Saw a car go by there. Again, still super wide roads, so I'd say we're pretty safe. Guy on my left there is Mike Shaw, super strong rider. I've ridden with him before on other rides. He's working back into shape, but be scary to see when he's in shape because he's already just crushing it out here. A little bit better on this corner here. Let's see how I end up taking corner 3 coming up here. A little better line, staying closer on the wheel, probably about a bike length back, so not too bad. See, power is under 300 watts, so staying in there. This guy on the left is a dropped rider that's popped back into the group. So put a little bit of a push in here and managed to bump up a bunch of spots. So 25 minutes in, everybody is probably a little tired from all the cumulative efforts Guy on the Bianchi right there is Antonio Rossi, super strong rider. Lives pretty close to me in Penasquitos. And see him smashing all the time on the bike path on 56. I think he does track as well, but very talented young rider. He goes in attack on the left. I think it looks like everybody's chasing, so no need to worry too much. Inside line again on the corner, not on a wheel though, so could do better there. Jonathan looked back at me, so probably could have improved. Can't remember what part of the race he was telling me to watch his line and see how he took that corner, but that was super cool of him to do that. Here goes an attack on the left here, so I'm letting other guys chase and I'm sitting on their wheels to get up there. Pretty much already back together right at the corner there. And again, everybody stops pedaling, so the attacks are getting a little bit shorter. Recovery is getting more frequent. And I could be better about being on wheels, so I will work on that next race for sure. There we go. Just to the left of the depression this time. A couple bike lengths off. Right back on the wheel for this stretch though with a headwind, so it's nice. Putting a little effort to move up in the pack as well. Decided to tuck in here behind Doug again. Pretty solid surge here. And everybody goes way off the gas right after the corner. So I'm hardly pedaling at all, just kind of floating around the course, staying in the draft. Guys up front are definitely working hard. I didn't hit the front at all. I don't think. I was in the wind for a little bit, but was mostly just trying to make sure I stayed connected. Got the inside line there on the corner, about 3 bike lengths back, so could have done better from that perspective. Finally getting back on the wheel here at corner 4. And they're just rolling steady at the front at a pretty hard clip though. I do see a little gap in front of Doug, not overly worried about it because Doug's a strong, savvy rider. So is the guy I'm right behind. Everybody fanning out again, just getting some recovery after a harder effort up that climb. Nothing's really, elastic's not really snapping here today, so most people are staying together. Butcher box guy attacks and Antonio goes and everybody follows suit. So I'm cornering in between 2 guys. Managed it okay. I'm in the wind though, but not terribly so. So there's men and women racing out here. It's pretty cool to have everybody mixed in the field. Here we are passing some dropped riders, so always got to be aware of that here. And then important too, just to be cognizant of how people ride. So if somebody whips their bike side to side when they're out of the saddle. Better to give them a little more room so they don't get knocked inadvertently. It was pretty awesome sitting in the draft behind this rider. He's a bigger rider, and so if you're right on his wheel, you don't really feel anything, which is awesome. Everybody easing off here after a couple of harder efforts. Inside line on the corner, not too bad. About a bike and a half gap to the next rider. So right there, doing about 300 watts. The last couple laps we were up to 700-800 watts, so everybody's easing up a bit. They're bunching up at the front. "31 minutes in, so we still got about 8.5 minutes before laps start being counted. Took this corner pretty well here, staying on everybody's wheel. Obviously, nobody's pedaling. There was 0 watts there, so everybody's recovering. Everybody's all fanned out. Looks like a prime opportunity for another attack or something here. Everybody's bunched up. See how I navigate the corner. I went a little wider just because there's somebody inside, but I'm on wheels, saving power. Yep, still staying on wheels. All right, so we're just sitting on here on this incline. The drop rider rejoining there on the left. So peloton's getting strung out again. Pace is picking up. Actually, nope, bunched up at the front, and nobody's pedaling, so everybody's recovering from what I can gather. Yep, everybody bunched up here. Looks like somebody's gonna go, is my guess. Yep, and we go on the far right. So we've got an attack from a non-team rider. It's a pretty solid one. I'm pretty sure this was a preem lap, and so it's going for that huge dollar preem that you get for winning a lap. So that definitely helps pick up the pace of the peloton behind, not necessarily because they're contesting the preem too, but now you got a rabbit to chase. Yep, everybody's going after him. So my thinking here is that all these guys are digging in to follow that move for quite a while, because he attacked before the third corner, and everybody went to cover almost immediately. So we'll see how that plays out in this next lap. There's the guy that attacked, so now he's dropped. Speed's reasonably high here. I could be closer to the last wheel. Burning some extra watts to get up there. Corner 3, took the inside line. Still could have done better than that. About 3-4 bike lengths back. Again, just burning watts. I should be on a wheel. Looks like this corner was all right, and everything slowed up quite a bit from here. And then we got an attack from Doug on the left. He's a savvy racer for sure. And Announcer was saying that was a legit move, and so everybody goes to cover. It's a solid long covering move right here. So finally catches up to him. This guy's name's Baxter. I think I mentioned earlier he hasn't done any racing before, has a history as a runner, actually knows somebody on the Audi team up in Seattle, and he decides to throw down his own attack here. So I'm staying seated, trying to stay in his draft and stay on his wheel. And he just keeps it powered down, lays off a little bit. Go right on his wheel. Maybe it would have been a good idea to come around and take some pulls with him, but I knew everybody was right behind us, so Butcher Box guys coming through. Better job on the corner there, just staying in the flow. $37 in, we got about 3 minutes left before they start calling off laps. You can see up ahead we've got some lapped riders there. So I know we're going to have to navigate that. Able to float back up to the group here. Baxter's doing a good job of staying on wheels. I'm still trying to recognize kits and racers. I'm getting a better sense of that after a couple of the group rides, and this is now my second Vista Crits, but definitely still lots to learn. Obviously better cornering to be had. So always need to be improving. That's the one thing I like about crits though, is the repetition, is that if you get it wrong one time, as long as you're not dropped, you can go at it again and work on it for the next lap. Everybody's coasting here, so getting a little bit of recovery. All right. Heading into corner 3 in some traffic. Let's see if I manage to stay on wheels. Took the inside line, about a bike length off of Doug. I'll take that. Whoa. Just following wheels here. About a minute before laps start getting called off, so probably our next lap around is when that'll happen. Oh, they're calling laps right now. So they called 5 laps to go right there. Everybody's bunched up, so recovering. Don't see any sort of attacks or anything. Doug pulls off on the left. Get a little breather. Queue up for these last few laps. Antonio's up there on the right. At this point, I'm pretty happy that I've stayed connected, haven't dropped off yet. Baxter's up there on the right. Butcher Box guys are pushing a decent clip, but there's only 2 of them, so they're hopefully not going too early. That was right inside, and that actually went really well, I think. That's the smoothest line, and got to carry the most speed, sort of in traffic. pushing up the right here a little bit, knowing we have a few laps to go. Might as well try and get a little better position instead of just sitting that far back. Antonio again. All right. Here's Mike again, sitting in his draft, going through corners. I gotta put down a little more power here to make sure I'm staying connected. These last final laps usually end up being a little spicier than the rest of the race, or probably as intense as the beginning of the race when everything's going. Inside corner there. A couple bike lengths back. Legs are feeling decent though. Heart rate's only 165 versus in the 70s, and it's climbing, but we should be at 3 to go after this lap here. Okay, everybody's kind of chilling out here. No pedaling, decent speed. See Butcher Box guy at the front, so likely setting up a lead out for one of them. Going into quarter 3 here. On the inside, carrying speed, bike and a half length off. Not bad. I can put out some watts and just float up to the back of the peloton here, or the back of the front, with Doug, who I know is a good rider. Baxter is a solid rider. Antonio, and then obviously the Butcher Box guys. Don't really know anybody else, but I do know Philip Tinsman's in the mix too, and a couple of guys I've seen on group rides. I think we're now at 2 to go. Everybody's sticking together here, not pedaling too hard. Got that corner pretty good, still a bike length back, so need to work on just staying on wheels through corners so I'm not just burning watts trying to get back up to the pack. There was a car up front, so we just had to be careful about that. Knew the pack would slow a little bit for it, so I wasn't killing myself to catch up, and I just floated up there. Went around on the outside. Since I had some speed, might as well grab it and get into a better position. So right now I'm in a pretty good spot, pretty close to the Butcher Box guys up here. Should have just held the power and held my position so people start coming around me. I'm still not super comfortable with that yet, just because I don't have enough reps under my belt, but still, I should not have let people go by since this is the last lap. So everybody's pushing hard to get position. A little wobbly, but fine, nothing crazy. So see this guy go by me, and I don't really feel like getting into craziness in the corner. Not sure how he's going to handle it. So held back a little bit, just stuck with positioning. Definitely could have been more aggressive there. So here we're heading in the final sprint. So pretty fun. First time recording a vocal track here. I'm putting in a sprint all the way to the line just to see how I fare. I'll probably end up 8th or 9th or something like that. So, but goals were to corner better and stay connected. Did so. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was entertaining, and I'll try some more of these later on.